Your Excellencies, my dear sisters and brothers attending the Business Forum today, it's my real pleasure to address my greetings from the voice of the African private sector, from the Africa Business Council, Your Excellency, my dear AU Commissioner Josefa, Chair of FARA, Executive Director of FARA, representatives of African Union agencies, UN agencies, all partners present here. It's my real pleasure to address you today in this very important event of linking science and technology innovation to agribusiness. Africa Business Council, as established by the Heads of State Decision Summit, to be the voice of the African private sector and to build the capacity of the African private sector and boost our intra-Africa trade. Our competitive vision is an innovative, borderless Africa for trade, investment, and industrialization. So linking science and technology is huge importance because it shows how we are going to develop our agribusiness and agriculture through scientific research and technology. So Africa Business Council is committed to support this very important initiative, CAPS, Common Africa Agro Parks, with investment from the private sector and also building capacity of our small-scale farmers, building capacity of our youth entrepreneurs. The main issue is really how we have agribusiness and have food security among our continent and not importing our agricultural products with $50 billion per year. It's time for Africa to be food security, to have it self-sustainable for self-sufficient for our food and nutrition. So this partnership between Africa Business Council and FARA is really based on how we have built the capacity of private sector with technology and access to finance. So our strategy for Africa Business Council goes into three pillars. The first pillar is really about private sector strengthening, including SMEs, women and youth, small-scale farmers, cooperatives, young entrepreneurs, how we raise awareness among all our constituencies to see how we build their capacity to have their knowledge on the scientific part with reference to agriculture, agribusiness, and provide innovation. The second pillar is about policy advocacy, how we advocate with the governments for having incentives for investment in agriculture, agribusiness. We need to transform our continent, but we really need to see how we have those policies, the conducive environments, the investment climate facilitation, in order for our investments in agribusiness. And this actually comes also with the implementation of the African Union Decision Summit, which have at least 1% geared towards scientific research and technology, which I was privileged to be at that time the chair for science and technology cluster of African Union ECOSOC, and we pushed for this with the heads of state. So it is time that we implement it and have this budget allocated to scientific research and technology. Now for also we need policies for incentives and policies for the facilitation for business models for the small scale farmers and the young entrepreneurs to have access to technology and access to finance. Our third pillar is really about product development. So if we are not talking only now about agriculture, but about agribusiness, the transformation, how we have agro-processing, how we are able that the small scale farmers, the SMEs, the young entrepreneurs, even the rural women, all as business people are going to transfer the products into a made in Africa product, which is quality, which is competitive, which is standardized. How we give them this knowledge? How can FARA, with partnership with FARA, give the knowledge and the education and the innovation and the scientific research, development, information to our farmers? We have 60% arable land on the continent. How can we transform this 60% arable land to be agricultural products that are value added? It's no more about the cocoa being processed as chocolate anywhere else out of the continent. It is really about us as Africans coming together to have a made in Africa product, agribusiness, and transform our raw materials, our agricultural products to be processed, to be juices, to be taken of food, to really stop the import of $50 billion per year. And we saw how we suffered actually. So it's time for our food security, time for our well-nourished population, time for FARA and Africa Business Council to come together to link science and technology and financing and have the business model for our small-scale farmers, young entrepreneurs and women, and to have their own businesses, transforming Africa into an industrialized continent, transforming agriculture into agribusiness and agro-processing, and investment by the private sector in factories and industries. It's time that we come together, and Africa Business Council is committed to support the whole initiative of CAPS, Common Africa Agro Parks, with FARA, and coming together for the Africa we want, a prosperous, peaceful, integrated Africa, driven by the citizens of Africa. We are the citizens of Africa. So my dear brothers and sisters, we're happy to launch today the Africa Business Forum with FARA. Thank you very much.